Hey everyone, I'm Will, and today we are going to go over 30 different plants that you can harvest in late fall.
If you can see, this one right here is a dandelion flower. If you move some of the leaves, you can see that it has the dandelion leaves. The flowers can be eaten. Easy to harvest.
Dandelions will flower 2 times in a year, spring and fall. And they taste delicious.
Next, we have chicory. Right here is chicory. The leaves look very similar to dandelion, but these are the flowering stalks right here, and they had during the summer and early fall beautiful blue flowers that you can use as topping in salads. This time of the year, you can actually harvest the leaves, the young leaves, and eat these.
Chicory root is also used commercially for decaf coffee. There's some bitters up front, but it tastes delicious.
Next, we have a crabapple tree. They're easy to harvest. Pick them off just like cherries.
You can use crab apples in jellies, jams, or deliciously in pie. Tastes good.
Next, we have vetch. Vetch is a type of legume, so it will have purple flowers during the summer and early fall that you can harvest, and the little small beans. And you can also eat the tips.
Tastes kind of like snap peas. It's delicious.
Next, we have red clover. The flowers and leaves can be eaten in salads, or the flowers can be used to make tea. Easy to harvest.
Very subtle, a little bit of sweet, and tastes fantastic.
Next, we have curly dock. Curly dock, the leaves you can use for cooking. The roots have been used in root beer, and this plant is related to buckwheat, so the seeds can be used as flour, just like buckwheat. It's easy to harvest the leaves.
Slight bitterness, but very subtle of bitterness. A little citrusiness just slightly there too. It tastes delicious.
Next is mullein. Mullein is a sun-loving plant, and it is great for congestion. If you have a sore throat or congested lungs, it's easy to harvest. And this is what the seed stalk looks like during the fall. Great for fire starting.
Let's try. Just a taste. It's more towards a flavor of almost like an asparagus. Don't swallow when it's very fibrous, but tastes delicious.
Next, we have goldenrod. Goldenrod, the flowers can help with sore throat, the leaves can help with digestion, and the roots have been known to help with kidney stones. It's easy to harvest.
Let's try. The flavors of the flowers are similar to the flavor of menthol. Very upfront, very strong flavor. There's some bitters to it, but tastes delicious.
Next, we have burdock. The roots are traditionally used in traditional root beer, but this time of year, you can harvest the leaves. So just pull up the stalk and eat the stalk.
You are going to need to peel the outer purple part, if you can see here, off the stalk, and you can eat it. This time of year, it's a little bit more fibrous. I recommend cooking it in some hot water, and it tastes delicious.
Next, we have wintercress. Wintercress is a type of mustard. In late spring and early summer, you can harvest the flower heads and cook them up just like broccoli. It will be more of a spicy broccoli taste. It's easy to harvest. Pluck off the leaf and eat the leaf stalk.
Let's try. And after a frost, it becomes very, very sweet. And there's the mustardy taste. Very subtle mustard flavor at this time of year. But early, like summer, it's going to be more spicier flavor. And it is delicious, sauteed or raw on salads.
Next, we have chickweed. Chickweed is very high in vitamins and minerals and great on salads or as a trail nibble. It's easy to harvest.
Let's try. Very subtle, more of an earthy flavor that you would get more towards beets and radishes. It's good.
The next plant is yarrow. Yarrow has a flavor in between sage and rosemary. You can use it best as a flavoring for like focaccia. The leaves also are great to stop bleeding and easy to harvest. And also, if you have a sore in your teeth, you can use this also to numb out the pain, just like Novocaine.
It has a very strong smell. And let's try it. Very, very pungent flavor. Tastes good. Best used as a tea, and you use it as a poultice to stop bleeding.
Next, we have bull thistle. The root you can cook up and it will taste a flavor just like popcorn. The leaves, the inner part of the stalk, the lighter part that you can see here, that can be eaten in salads or sauteed up. The way to harvest is to cut off a leaf and then cut all the thorns off the side with the knife.
It will look like this after you cut the thorns off of the leaf. And this is delicious. Crunches just like celery. And you can eat it just like celery, and it has a slight hint like celery.
Next, we have sheep sorrel. Sheep sorrel looks like this arrowhead shape leaf. It will be very citrusy in flavor, and sometimes the leaves do not have these side leaflets. They're going to be just a oval shape, and they're easy to harvest. They're great in salads or as a trail nibble.
Let's try. Up front, very lemony, citrusy flavor, and it's very, very there. It is delicious, and this is one of those plants that I highly recommend going out and find.
Next, we have common juniper. The fruit have been used traditionally in traditional root beer or also as a seasoning in barbecue. You can harvest, I recommend the blue fruit, not as much as the green, the blue fruit, and it's easy to harvest.
Let's try. Has a very nice sweetness. Tastes better after a frost. And very antiseptic, almost that piney flavor, but very subtle, not a lot of it. And would be perfect as a tea or thrown in a barbecue seasoning. It's delicious.
Next, we have daisies. Daisies, at this time of year in late fall, you can harvest the leaves. The leaves you can saute up or eat as a salad green. Easy to harvest.
Let's try. Very subtle. It just tastes like a basic, like romaine lettuce or iceberg lettuce. Oh, never mind. Right off the bat, it's like lettuce. Now, it's tasting more towards like almost the yarrow, but it has more of that peppermint kind of flavoring that you're getting. It would be fantastic in just a little bit of it in a salad, or making it into a tea. Fantastic.
Next, we have evening primrose. In the summer, it will go to flower, and the flowers can be made into tea or topped to salads. They are very sweet and delicious. This time of year, you can harvest the rosettes. The roots can be harvested. Also, the roots can be cooked up as a root crop, just like parsnips. The leaves can be eaten with salads or sauteed up. Easy to harvest.
Let's try. Very subtle, very soft texture, not a lot of crunch to it, not a lot of flavor. Very subtle, and would be great as an addition to a salad.
Next, we have common plantain. The leaves can be eaten, and the seeds can be eaten too. This is what the seed stalk looks like, and these are what the seeds look like. And you can use these to make delicious crackers.
Let's try the leaf. A good crunch comes from the leaf. Be great with salads, cooked up as a cooked green. Not a lot of flavor up front, but then it becomes more of an earthy, almost mushroomy kind of flavor towards the back. It is very delicious.
The next plant is wild carrot, or another name, Queen's Anne's lace. If it doesn't smell like carrot, it's more likely not carrot. The root of this carrot is going to be white, not orange. It's more of a original carrot. It is, you can use it mostly for medicine, as of enhancing nutrients in teas. And you can use the tops, easy to harvest, to use as salads or as is of a cooked green or a trail nibble.
Let's try. Very upfront carrot flavor. More of with the leaves, more of a licoricey kind of carrot flavor that you get from just the leaves. The root is going to be more of a very strong carrot flavor. Very good and great on salads. It's delicious.
The next plant is cleaver. The seeds from cleaver can actually be used as a coffee substitute. They will have a slight bit of actual caffeine in the seeds. The greens also will have a slight caffeinated point to it and would be more like a flavor of green tea. But these are great in salads or as trail nibble or cooked greens. Easy to harvest.
Let's try. The reason why it's called cleaver is because it attaches, you can have it attach to your clothing like Velcro. Very subtle, very upfront vegetal flavor, and taste delicious.
Next, we have the multiflora rose. The rose plant of the multiflora rose is invasive in the Northeast. The fruit of the multiflora rose after a frost becomes very, very sweet and delicious. Easy to harvest. The fruit of a multiflora rose has 8.3 times more vitamin C than citrus.
Now you're going to not want to eat the seeds, so you're going to want to spit out the seeds, but you can use the seeds, toast them up, and grind them into a flour, and then the flour will have a popcorn flavor to it. You want to move it around to get the flavor and the sugars out of the fruit. Great made into tea or desserts and taste fantastic.
Next, we have a white pine tree. The needles can be used in tea. The inner bark will give a nice sweeter flavor from the sap in tea. You can eat the inner bark as a survival food for starches, and the buds can be eaten as is, as a trail nibble. Easy to harvest.
Let's try. Now the buds are very subtle, not a huge antiseptic flavor, just like the sap is going to be a very strong antiseptic flavor. This is very subtle and more nutty, more towards like a nuttiness that you would get from walnuts. It is delicious, and you could saute them up just like walnuts.
Next, we have poplar. Poplar is related to willow, where willow is used of the inner bark for painkiller. You can use the buds also, easy to harvest, pop right off.
With the painkiller that you want to use, the inner bark, you want to boil to make a decoction for at least 20 minutes. Let's try the bud. Very subtle up front, and it's bitter. And that bitterness is where the painkiller is. If you have sore muscles, I recommend using inner poplar bark.
Next, we have a balsam fir tree. The inner bark you can use as a survival food for starches, and the leaves can be used for tea. The buds can be eaten as a trail nibble, easy to harvest. You can see the buds are actually coated in the white sugar from the balsam fir tree, so they're going to be sweet.
Let's try. Very subtle antiseptic flavor, very fruity, and just a subtle sweetness. Tastes delicious.
And the bubbles on a balsam fir tree, these are filled with sap. Take a stick, pop them open, and extract the sap. You can eat this too. You can dilute it in water.
You can also set the sap on fire and it will hold a flame. Now this is very sweet, but also it's even a stronger antiseptic flavor than the buds. But it tastes delicious.
Next, we have a Eastern red hemlock. These are very high in vitamin C. The leaves, the young leaves, can be used in tea. The inner bark can be eaten for starches for survival. And the young cones that form, the seeds in those cones can be eaten as like pine nuts. You can make tea out of the young leaf tips. Easy to harvest. Pull hard and it comes off.
You are going to want to strip off the leaves and eat this and chew this up, but then spit the fiber out. Very subtle. Not a strong antiseptic flavor like the other evergreens. Very more nutty flavor that you get from this. And tastes delicious.
Next is wild lettuce. This is the Lutuca canadensis species. The underside is going to be different than dandelion. It's going to be more of a grayish white coloration. Easy to harvest.
Let's try. It's more of a vibrant flavor at this time of year. And you can use it as regular lettuce or made into a medicine as of using a decoction style to extract the nutrients.
Next, we have alder. The young cones are a great indicator for alder, and these are called catkins. They're the male flowers, and they're easy to harvest, and they are high in protein.
Let's try. It's going to be green on the inside. Very stringent, a little bit of astringent to it. More of a slight antiseptic flavor. And almost a similar flavor that you would get from birch. A little bit there. Tastes good.
Next, we have a gray birch. The gray birch, you can use the inner bark for making tea or eating. The buds can be used as is, nibbling like a deer. And they have catkins, just like the alders. It's easy to harvest the buds, pulls right off.
Let's try. Very subtle flavor. Not a lot of flavor. A little nutty. Has a slight medicinal flavor that you would get towards that hint that you would get from like a mint. Like a minty, like cough syrup kind of flavor. Slightly towards that. Tastes good.
Next, we have wrinkled rose. The fruit, after a frost, becomes better of taste, sweeter, easy to harvest, pulls right off, and just like the multiflora rose, don't eat the seeds that are inside, but eat the outer pulp.
And just like the multiflora rose, the seeds can be toasted and made into a flour that tastes like popcorn. Let's try. A very fruity flavor. And this can be made into a juice or a tea and taste delicious. And it has 8.3 times more vitamin C than citrus. This is delicious.
The next and last plant is cattails. Cattails, at this time of year, you want to harvest the rhizomes. That's the part of the root. And you want to ease up and pull up on the bottom of the plant. And this right here is the rhizome. I'm going to show you how to process that. You're going to want to wash off the root. So the edible part is going to be inside this rhizome. So you just cut off that part. So you're wanting to get to the inside white part. So just peel off the outer part and you're going to get the inner part. Now this, you can eat and just spit out the fiber afterwards. Or you can cook up. Kind of tastes like red skin potatoes. It's good. Kind of has a similar texture as a red skin potatoes also.
Now that was 30 different types of plants you can harvest in the fall. If you want to see more, go down in the description below, click the link to my channel, or press the round subscribe button to help me out to get to 10,000 subscribers. And next time, remember to get outside, get fresh air, and have fun. See ya.